Hello everyone, Cherries Army YouTube channel. I'm Kirk. The internationals are all done and dusted. The championship is back and we are back with another match preview. Tomorrow on Friday, AFC Bournemouth take on Middlesbrough in the championship, and we're here to discuss that game in more detail with an AFC Bournemouth fan and a Middlesbrough fan as well. As always, thank you to everyone who's currently joining us live. You can get involved on the chat. Let us know what you think throughout the show. We'll drop as many messages on the screen as possible. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. We'll really appreciate that. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do that as well and help this channel grow. Right, let's get on with the match preview. Let's get our first guest on, our home team, the AFC Bournemouth fan. Please welcome Marc. How you doing, Marc?
Hey, Kirk. Good evening. Thanks for having me on.
International break all done then? You feel refreshed? Do we need that breather in the championship?
I think given the way our season's been going, mate, yeah, I think we probably needed a little bit longer. But yeah, buzzing to be back, mate. And you know what? It's a great game to get back to, in all honesty, see where we're at.
Let's get our second guest on then for the opposition. He's a regular YouTuber. I've seen him on Boro Fan TV and he's got his own YouTube channel as well. Please welcome A.J.T. How you doing?
How's it going? I'm all right.
A bit of an intro for you there, but just tell us a bit about what you do for YouTube. I know you're on Twitch as well.
Yeah, Twitch and YouTube. Twitch only recently. YouTube 4 years. Yeah, long time on this YouTube platform. To cut a long story short, I was in a bad place. Started YouTube in February. I think it was the day before Valentine's Day. There you go. Feel sorry for myself. You know, Valentine's blues and all this. Made a YouTube channel. Had a bit of success early on, of course. Boro Fan TV obviously picked me up. Joined Boro Fan TV. I always say it's probably the best 2.5 years of my life. Went home and away. Went to Bournemouth once, got beat for 3-1, but it is what it is. Like I say, home and away for 2 years. Never ever missed a game. And then, of course, got to play a charity game as well at the Shildon. So, yeah, like I say, you know, good times. And, of course, YouTube, I say, you know, I think it's absolutely fantastic. You meet great people. You interact with fantastic people as well. And I don't know, I sort of think, you know, getting recognised and all that, it's like, makes you feel good because, I don't know, sometimes you're sort of inspiring a generation, if you know what I mean, a football fan. So, yeah, like I say, you know, I enjoy it. I enjoy YouTube. And, of course, you know, I always have the banter, I always enjoy the banter of other fans as well. It's always good.
And AJT's details are in the description if you want to check out any of the stuff that he does. And let's get on with the preview show then. And we always start with the previous matches for both teams. It seems a while ago now, I think back on the 20th of March. And Marc, we had a 3-0 comfortable win in the end against Swansea and a much needed win.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, again, it's the story of our season, isn't it? It's just all about those inconsistencies. And we seem to, it's more of a case of now where are these results going to come from, if anything. So yeah, Swansea was a real pleasant surprise and actually something that we, I guess, at the beginning of the season, you know, we probably would have expected to have got. So it was nice to put a performance together. Although a little voice inside my head is it does say to myself, was it a case of Swansea were just really bad on the day and made us look good? So I mean, that's put us, you know, right back in the mix with things, you know, and it's really allowing us to keep that pressure on the top six. You know, I'm still all for, we really need to be pushing for that promotion spot. You know, let's not write the season off at all. I know we've had, you know, a bit of a downer in many respects, been a bit of a bottle job on many occasions, but, you know, we've got to keep pushing upwards. We've seen what the financial implications of like COVID has been without the Premier League. You know, so it's only a further incentive for us to get back in there. You know, and Middlesbrough aren't far off that as well. So, and I think from history as tells, you know, some of those, teams in the mid-table sections more than likely put a little run together. So us along with them, you know, is a great opportunity for us.
And for Middlesbrough, who are trying to, you know, get in touch and, you know, sort of base with this sixth position there. They lost 1-0 against Millwall. Now, you could say that that's a bit of a letdown, but we've dropped points against Millwall as well. They're one of those teams that they just seem to nick points every now and again.
Yeah, I mean, that game against Millwall, I wasn't even disappointed. I'll be honest with you. We pushed and pushed and pushed. We had shot after shot after shot. And it was just one of them afternoons, you know, you see it, you know, home or away. The other team will get one chance and score it, and you can be out there all week and you still won't score, even though, you know what I mean? Especially second half, we were all over Millwall. We must have had about 20 shots. They say it was absolutely crazy how many shots we had. But every single time we had a shot, it was either blocked or saved. It just wouldn't go in the back of the net. And at the end of the day, it's just one of them games for us, you know. It's 90 minutes. Like I say, you know, if Boro was still there playing now, we still wouldn't have scored. It's just one of them. It was just one of them games, you know what I mean?
It's interesting you say that, because I looked at the stats of that game and you brought 3 substitutions on at half time. I mean, was Warnock just frustrated with the lack of creativity or chances?
I didn't know what on earth he was smoking at half time. Warnock doesn't ever make a change at half time. He just doesn't do it. It's normally like the 65th or the 70th minute. The 3 substitutions came on at half time, rightly so, because I thought first half we were absolutely dire. And, you know, it isn't the first time, you know, Boro have turned up to a game where we just don't look interested. The defence is all over the place. You know, we had at the start of the season against Huddersfield away. I think we won 2 or 3 games on a bounce. Went to Huddersfield. I think they were at like 8 games. About, you know, Huddersfield couldn't get a point. Played us, and Huddersfield looked like Barcelona purely because Boro just didn't turn up. So, you know, we have these games, but I guess it is what it is. You know, Millwall, I say, you know, I don't really mind them, but at the same time, the Den is always a hard place to go regardless. You know, Millwall's not an easy place to go and get a result. I guess on that afternoon, you know, their defence was on it, and unfortunately for us, we can get the ball in the back of the net. But, you know, these things happen in football.
Let's go back then to the start of the season, actually the second game for both teams in this season, and it was a 1-1 draw at the Riverside. Mark, it was actually, we took the lead through Dom Solanke, become the main man. Callum Wilson left Bournemouth, and a nice little flick. But interestingly, there was fans in the stadium as well.
Must have been a nice experience for them to actually get back into it. I mean, I you know, for all the right reasons, you know, I've not been able to get back to the stadiums myself. So for all those that have been able to in the past, you know, I'm sure it was a fantastic experience. I can't wait to get back. I've genuinely missed it so much. But it must have been quite a surreal atmosphere, actually, you know, having, you know, very sporadic fans, you know, dotted around the place because, I mean, what's the Riverside capacity? I mean, it's what 30-odd thousand, something 32. Like that?
Yeah, 32,000.
So to have them, and wasn't it only on like sort of one side of the pitch as well? So, you know,
main stand, west stand. I wasn't actually there. But I say, you know, very, very jealous. I'm a bit like you know, I can't wait to get back. I'm missing it crazy.
Yeah, I think it's when you're in these moments, you do appreciate just actually going there and just, you know, being able to be sociable, you know, with the fans and like-minded people, you know, and just talk about a football club that you all love and adore. And, you know, it's given us a newfound appreciation for it. And I'm sure, like with you, Kirk, once we're all able to get back into the stadium, you know, hopefully we can all get together in this little community that, you know, yourselves and, you know, the other YouTubers have actually built up and, you know, either have a little hug and actually, you know, have a beer.
Oh, absolutely.
Dom Solanke got his first goal of the season. Then was you sort of proud to see that? Because, you know, there has been some harsh critics from Bournemouth fans when we were in the Premier League.
Yeah, Dom really had it quite hard to begin with because he was. I mean, again, it doesn't help with the transfer fee and where he came from, and I guess the reputation that I guess the media had quite possibly built up for him. So for him to then start getting his goal, and then for us to then start understanding fully what kind of a player Dom really is, you know, he's at his hold up and his link up play and being able to actually fully appreciate what he does bring to the team. I mean, that period of time that he was out for, we were sort of chopping and changing. We had Surridge up front for a little bit, and I'm sure, like myself, a number of fans were saying, "Do you know what? We miss somebody like Dom, just somebody who can interlink that play a bit." So he isn't a goal scorer, you know, like Callum, but I do believe that, you know, we definitely miss him when he's not in the team.
So A.J.T, we were 1-0 up. It wasn't a comfortable 1-0. Looking back at the stats, it looks like you actually edged it a little bit. And it was, you sort of caught us sleeping a little bit. It was a throw in and a cross in and sort of got in between our centre backs, and you equalised through Brown. But yeah, we definitely were it was a poorly defended, but very good from yours and very smart. Yeah,
like I say, you know, Max Brown's a shame actually because, you know, I think he's been injured now for about 4 to 5 months, but you know, Max Brown is that kind of goal scorer. You know, he gets in them positions, you know, often hassles the defender, and often, you know, comes up often, you know, comes up often with the late goal. So, yeah, I mean, you know, against Bournemouth on that day, I'll be honest with you, I did fear it just because Bournemouth, you know, Premier League for so long, and Bournemouth, you know, for me personally, I do feel them inside this championship. I've got to be honest with you, you know what I mean? some very good players inside that team at Bournemouth. Of course, losing a couple of players, but I think one of your main players who I do fear for is Stanislas. I think he's brilliant. I really think he's brilliant. I think he's most definitely, definitely a level above the Championship, 100% Stanislas. But I say his pace and power is phenomenal. But I say, on that afternoon at Riverside, we have an okay record against Bournemouth at home. It's more so away from home, whereabouts, I look at it tomorrow and go, please, Boro, don't let it be 4-0. I remember that before. 4-0 inside the Premier League. I remember sitting here because, I was sat here watching it. I'm thinking, oh my goodness me, about 30 seconds in and 1-0 down. First half, made about 3 or 4 changes or something like that, crazy. And everyone was coming off, everyone was going on. Gaston Ramirez got a red card. It was like the worst day ever, like awful.
But let's move on to that point. That's a good way to go to the next segment. And head-to-heads is in Bournemouth's favour, Mark. I think we've only lost once in 8 games, and that was at the Riverside when Gaston Ramirez took on pretty much the whole Bournemouth team, and Sermon's still running now trying to catch him. Yeah, we have a good record at home, and I don't think we've lost to Boro at home for 30 years.
Jeez.
Well, let's just, in short, Kirk, let's just hope that we can keep that up at the moment. My only issue with this time around is just our frustration with our inconsistencies with our performances and what appears to be our inability to string 2, maybe 3 good, solid performances together. And especially against a team like Boro. Although saying that, I mean, I think what, we've not taken into consideration too much is just, how active the Championship is. You're playing, twice every week. You hear about, the Premier League constantly, how many games they actually play. But I think for some of the top teams, they've never really played in the Championship. Imagine how much they would moan back then. So the fact that, these guys are playing, to, I don't know, at a push, maybe even like, three times a week on some occasions. So for the majority of the teams now to have, an international break, I mean, I'm not too sure how many like Middlesbrough maybe have had like off out on duty, but for the guys to, go away, have a bit of a refresh and a rethink, and maybe good Woodgate to have some of them on the training pitch, it can only, I believe it can only bode as a positive for us going forward.
A.J.T, I think the last time we played in the Championship, I think it was the 3-0 that we won. And I think the leagues, for some reason, decided to bring it forward to a 12:15 kickoff. Now, I don't know if you were there that day,
no,
but a record's there to be broken.
Definitely. Definitely. I say Bournemouth away. Not only is it miles away, it's just an uncomfortable place to even think about because, as I say, the 3-0 win inside the Championship for you lot. I remember getting up off night, I had about 3 hours sleep if that, and I got up thinking Boro's going to win, and you absolutely thumped us. And I'll never forget it. You absolutely tore us a new one. The only time I've been to Bournemouth is when in a cup game 3-1. I went there and then back in one day. It took me 18 hours inside a round trip. And at one point we got it back to 1-1. And then I don't know if it was it Forbe went on to score 2 or something, or you got a penalty or something. And I said Bournemouth come out 3-1. And I say, tomorrow, anything can happen, I suppose, especially with no fans inside the stadium. I don't think it matters if you play home or away at the moment, to be completely honest with you. Do you know what I mean? But record to be broken. I'm 26, so clearly Boro haven't beaten Bournemouth at the Vitality inside of my lifetime. I would love to see it happen tomorrow. Of course I would, you know what I mean? What are we now? 6 points off the playoffs. We are putting a lot of pressure on yourselves as well. And, of course, Barnsley that are in there. Our next 3 games, are absolutely massive for our season. We've got you lot tomorrow. We're at home on Monday against Watford, and then on Saturday away at Barnsley. So, we have to try and pick up some points. And I said before, 4 points would be ideal out of our next 3 games. But at the end of the day, if we go to Bournemouth tomorrow, as long as we show a decent performance, I say 2 of our best players, or 2 of our key players, should I say, Saville and McNair both been out with Northern Ireland. So I don't know if they'll feature, but Paddy McNair's one of our strong players inside our midfield. I'm not too sure on him, the same as George Saville, really. But as I say, tomorrow, instead of a shot at, there's no fans at the stadium. You may as well go there, sort of with the mindset of there's 3 points on the line. Just try and get them, like, best way you can be.
We'll throw another stat in there before we look at the current form guide. Neil Warnock has a 1-0 record over Jonathan Woodgate as well. So that to think about as well. Current form then, both teams are pretty similar. Well, they are similar in the last 6 games. 3 wins, 1 draw, 10 points each. It's not going to be enough if we're going to try and make the playoffs on that continual basis, is it, Mark?
again, this is coming back to that consistency, Kirk, isn't it? And being able to string 2-3 good solid results. And looking at our next fixtures, we got Blackburn, Coventry, Huddersfield. Even at this moment, you look at those and you think to yourself, oh, do you know what? Before we get to the Norwich game, those are quite possibly 3 winnable games. Blackburn's going to be a tough one, but then when you look at like Coventry and Huddersfield, you've got to go in with the mindset that they've got to be wins, absolutely hands down. So quite possibly, we're looking at 9 points there before we get to Norwich, which is good. That's a massive game, a huge game in itself. Then, because if you consider, then you've got Barnsley playing Reading tomorrow, and that's at the 5:30 game. So depending on what possible result, sorry AJ, that we get against Middlesbrough, we can either be in the playoffs by the end of the day, or we can still just be let's have a look, a point. A point just below it. So, yeah, consistency is the most important thing for me at the moment, Kirk. And unfortunately, we just haven't had that. We did at the beginning of the season, but then for some unknown, absurd reason, it then just all of a sudden tailed off. Teams found us out, and we just went on a bit of a spiral.
Considering Boro's season last year, 10 points in the last 6 games. I mean, is that good or bad? But I mean, if you're going to want to go for the playoffs, I think you're 6 out of it already. You're going to need to win a lot of games.
The same as Mark's points about consistency. It's been our biggest downfall this season. I mean, start of the season, I think we went 10 or 11 games unbeaten. Since then, it's just been, a couple of wins, a couple of defeats, a couple of draws. And that's the way it's kind of been. I know Warnock sort of said, our season hasn't actually started yet. But, Boro, how many games are left now? 7 or 8 games left now?
8. We've got 9. We've got a game in hand, but there's 8.
So, I look at it and I think our fixtures don't get any easier. I'll be honest with you. Our next 3 are absolutely massive for our season. If we only take 3 points out of our next 2, if we only get one win out of our next 3, it isn't good enough. And I think a few people actually wrote off our season after the Swansea game a few weeks ago. All right, Boro badly done to win that game. It is what it is, as I said before. It's a championship. The referees inside this league. I won't go on about it because I'll be here all night talking about the referees inside the division.
So we all would, mate. Stop being the preview show, but the referee preview show, wouldn't it?
That's it, you know what I mean? So I look at it and I think our biggest downfall this season has been our inconsistency. We have to sort it out. I've said it week after week now. But that's the thing with the Middlesbrough. Just go back to the Millwall game. I think we had like 2 wins on the bounce, and then all of a sudden we go to Millwall and we just fall to pieces. So that's our downfall. We win a couple of games, get a bit ahead of ourselves, and it all goes to pot. So, yeah, it's a shame.
As we're putting this all together, we get into the halftime stage of this show, and it is finally balanced. It's the championship. Anyone can beat anyone. Form is balanced as well. Hope you're enjoying the show. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. And we're going to go into the next part of the show where we're going to look at the opposition in more detail, and hopefully A.J.T can tell us more about Boro's form all season. We're going to do that just after this. Okay, so Boro, 9th, 56 points, win more at home than they do away, not knowing currently, actually, I think they're probably better away from home, but you'll confirm that in a minute for me. But would you have taken that at the start of the season?
Possibly, probably. I mean, last season was absolutely awful with Woodgate. I hate to try and dig him out. Of course, we're about to years now, but, he's as far away as Middlesbrough as possible. It is what it is. I mean, I think with Woodgate, especially at Middlesbrough, I wanted him to do well. You know what I mean? I really wanted Jonathan Woodgate to do well at Middlesbrough. He's my most favourite defender. I should say, he's up there with, Southgate and Eggyog and, he's up there with Woodgate. But I just felt like last season at Middlesbrough, it was only going to end one way if he wasn't to go. And it's a real shame what happened to him. But, hopefully he does well for Bournemouth. That's all I can say.
He did a podcast on the AFC Bournemouth official website, Mark. And he did say that, he highlighted he's a Boro fan. He's got a love for Boro. He's paid by Bournemouth, though. I mean, how does he feel tomorrow when that whistle goes?
I think from what we've seen on Woodgate's press conferences, and I think we can appreciate that, is slightly a little bit better than JT. So, yeah, I'm sure, hands down, it'll be the ultimate, professionalism tomorrow. He'll go out with only one, with one thing on his mind, and that's to go get us 3 points tomorrow. As much as he'll probably maybe feel like a little bit bitter, with a beer at the end of the day, thinking that he's just beat his hometown club and that. But tomorrow Woodgate, is solely focused on getting us 3 points tomorrow.
This might be totally harsh of me, but I always look at Boro as a low-scoring team. And actually, under Woodgate last year, you were the lowest goal scorers in the league. I think you're only 3 goals away from eclipsing, those 2 seasons previously and actually scoring more than you have then. I mean, has it been one of your downfalls?
Big time, chances of creating football matches for us over the, last 2-3 seasons are absolutely through the roof. Converting them chances into goals don't happen very often for us. And, I don't know if it's down to tactics, because I think, under Woodgate, it was a long, the whole tactic was just long ball. Under Warnock, everybody knows he's renowned for the long ball, the target man. It freaks me out. It actually winds me up so much whenever a manager chooses just one player up front. Nothing grinds my gears more, because I just don't get that at all. I just don't understand it. I mean, underneath Woodgate, same thing, one attacker, no goals come from it. Under Warnock, okay, 9th. I think it was always going to happen with more of an experienced head in. I think it was always going to take our team to sort of high up beside the league table, but I definitely think unless you're going to play 2 up front, unless you're going to keep it on the floor and try and play 4-4-2, if you like, goals aren't going to be converted, and that's our biggest downfall.
Amazing to see that your top goal scorer is Duncan Watmore on 6 goals and Saville on 5. When you think that you've got players like Ashley Fletcher and Britt Sumbalonga, I mean, that was a surprise for me when I looked at that today.
If you want Britt Sumbalonga, I will drop him off, and I don't even drive. I just him on the honestly, I just walk him there. I don't mind. You can have Britt Sumbalonga for nothing. This season, started off as captain, no longer the captain, sits on the bench every week. That tells you everything you need to know about Britt Sumbalonga. Okay, might be a bit harsh on him, but he hasn't been great. Ashley Fletcher, he was injured for a little bit of time this season, came back into it, got injured again, and now he's back again, so hopefully he can try and keep fit. But Duncan Watmore, it's, Ginger Messi. He's been brilliant. He's been absolutely outstanding for us. I can't lie, he's been absolutely fantastic for us, Duncan Watmore. I know he played for Sunderland before, but listen, right, we'll all try and forget about him wearing them colours. It doesn't matter now. Do you know what I mean? He's inside a Boro shirt. But Duncan Watmore, for me, I mean, it's weird though, because, he came in as a free agent, tried to fight for the contract, got the contract. Since getting the contract, it fell away a little bit, really. I don't really know what that's from, but man to watch tomorrow for me, there's only one man on that pitch tomorrow, and that is our man Yannick Pelassi. You've got to watch out for him. He's fantastic. He's been absolutely outstanding this season since he's come in for us.
That's
and,
a great guys.
He like I say, the minute he signed, I won't tell you what on earth I was doing in private, but I was absolutely over the moon. I'll tell you now. I was loving it.
Looking at those stats then, Mark, that their highest goal scorer is 6. I've been moaning that Bournemouth haven't got a top 20 goal scorer in their team, but we've got 3 players in Danjuma, Stanislas and Solanke that are all in double figures. Am I being a bit harsh?
It's that word again, Kirk. It's that consistency. I think, what would you rather have at the end of the day? Would you rather have that, that focal player that's going to get you just that singular, 15, 20 plus goals a season, and have everybody else just chipping with the odd, 4 or 5 here? Or would you rather have a collective, of players that are going to get you, 15 goals? I mean, I'm still surprised at where, one of the high scoring, championship teams at the moment, and our goal difference is pretty much standing us in, it's keeping us within the promotion race at the moment. And if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be where we are. So I mean, at the moment, I would rather much have a collective of Solanke. I mean, it's great the fact that Junior has actually contributed as much as he has done. It's a shame that he has been injured. But again, can he score from open play? That's going to be the big question, and whether he's going to be fit enough for tomorrow, well, remains to be seen, doesn't it?
It's been great to have you on, A.J.T, and we'll get your feeling on the game tomorrow and your score prediction. Let's just have a look at Middlesbrough's team in that last fixture against Millwall, and just let us know if this is going to be quite close. I mean, what do you expect the team to be? And I'll bring it on the screen when you can see it. So, I mean, that team there, I mean, how far away do you think it'll be from the lineup come 2 o'clock tomorrow?
That could be it. I mean, take out Paddy McNair, put in our man who have Sam Morsey. So put Sam Morsey instead of Paddy McNair, with McNair being out on international duty. I know Northern Ireland played last night, so I doubt he'll play. I can't see him playing. And Marvin Johnson doesn't often start games, even though he's fantastic. So I reckon if you take away 2 players, that could be the team that plays tomorrow.
And how are you expecting that team to line up under Warnock, and what you're expecting from the 90 minutes?
I think, we have a lot of pressure down on our sort of wing backs. Jed Spence, Mark Bowler, brilliant players. A lot of our sort of attacks do come from the sort of sides, balls into the penalty area. Chu Brakpom, I don't know, I like him. A lot of Boro fans don't like him. He's just not really doing it at the moment. But as I say, tomorrow against Bournemouth, having watched you guys, last couple of weeks, it does seem like, I don't know, like whenever I watch it, like it's not, I don't know, like the attacking play isn't always there. You know what I'm trying to say? It's sort of like inside the middle of the, balls constantly tight in midfield. You're trying to break out. You sort of like, it looks to me as if Bombs try and play counter attack a lot of the time, especially at home. And I don't know if I'm wrong in saying that, to be honest. But go on.
We tend to, when we tend to dominate the ball, we struggle. And teams just sort of sit in front of us and say break us down, and we don't do that. If we can if we can sort of catch you at 6s and 7s where you've maybe broke for a break, an attack to break down, and we can intercept the ball, and we've got that pace, and we score a lot of goals breaking quickly. And as Mark will say, we've got that talent in Stanislas, Danjuma, and Solanke. It depends how you set up with Warnock. He might try and frustrate us for 45 minutes.
It could just be the counter attack. I mean, against Swansea, Boro sat everyone behind the ball, and as you said, just then intercepted the ball. And whenever we go forward on the counter attack, we're very, very dangerous. As I said before, Yannick Blas is often the man that gets the ball and just sprint 100 yards, and he's rapid. Cabano as well. Cabano's brilliant. He's coming on loan from Fulham, and then Cabano and Blas, if them two start at the same time, there's problems for the opposition. There is every single time, at home or away. As I say, the record there now, and I really want to see us try and break it tomorrow. I'm not joking. Like 30 years now, so if Boro win tomorrow, it'd be even more sweet. Knowing that in my lifetime, I've never ever seen Boro beat Bournemouth away. But if you beat them tomorrow, I'll be absolutely over the moon now because it's been 30 years, so we'll wait and see.
Have you got a score prediction?
I do have a score prediction. I did it in my own preview, and I said 2-1 Boro. Something's telling me to not be too overconfident, but I have some confidence. I don't know if I don't know if by 5 o'clock tomorrow I'm going to be sat here head inside my hands again, crying my eyes out with Boro B for another week. I'm not too sure, but I'll go 2-1. I'll go for Yannick Blatty to get his first goal of the season for Boro tomorrow. I'll wait and see.
Brilliant. It's been brilliant to have you on. Check out A.J.T. All the details for A.J.T. are in the description. Good luck with the game tomorrow. Obviously, we hope you don't win. But yeah, wish you all the best. And obviously, when you can get back in the football stadium, we hope you enjoy your football again. 100%,
mate. Same to you. Cheers for having me on, lads. Loved it. Brilliant.
Take care. See you later.
AJ. Take care, mate.
Thank you. See ya.
Interesting then. And no game's easy, Mark, and we know that because we've dropped points at home against teams that we're expecting to win. But it just, again, it's very finely balanced.
It's the nature of the championship now, and I think we're quickly starting to find that out again. If anything, Kirk, I don't think we were able to savour it first or second time around, were we? Because before we knew it, we blinked and we were up in the higher echelons, taking on United and City and that. So yeah, this is us now just getting used to, and I think it's us just having to readjust our mind from actually coming down to the Premier League and do you know what? Actually realising where we are within the footballing pyramid at the moment. Now, I think a lot of players and a lot of teams, not naming a few of them, maybe Watford or something, but we'll probably think that we're, still a lot higher than what we should be in that. But yeah, listen, it's a great league. It's great to be, to have a competitive match every single week rather than sort of thinking to yourself, right, okay, we got City today, right? Let's see what we can try and do in keeping it down. So we've just got to enjoy it, mate.
It's been a breath of fresh air. Jonathan Woodgate took his press conference today. Then it was quite a good one. Pretty much, apart from Lewis Cook, he's got a fully fit squad to pick from. Maybe Lloyd Kelly will miss out coming back a bit late from the internationals, but good to see Brooks, Stanislas, and those types of players back on the training ground again.
Yeah, massively. I mean, it can only be a huge boost for the team because we all know at the end of the day, every single one of those individual players. And again, it's just coming on to that individualness that we've heard on many times on the podcast, and that if they can come together as a team, there is just no reason at all why they can't dominate these last 9 games, even against
right.
Norwich.
It's that time of the show then. Everyone get involved in this. We're going to have a look at what the team might be for tomorrow. We're going to put our inner Woodgate here and see what you might pick from a big squad now. Let's do this. Okay, so we started the lineup a little bit here then, Mark, and we've gone with I'll come to the formation in a bit actually, but we've gone with Begovic in goal, and I've put Steve Cook, Carter Vickers at centre-back. Now, Rico might play because of Lloyd Kelly being back from international duty late. That right-back position is going to be a bit interesting. So let me know your thoughts on that and whether you agree with it and who you think might play right-back.
So, I mean, if you're coming up against that's if Balassi plays, so if you're coming up with the sort of pace and power and trickery, it's a difficult one because I think Stacey at the moment is showing the most consistency out of the two between him and Smith, and I think if Smith was to be in there, then Boro would definitely focus on playing down the left hand side there, look to maybe bully him, maybe cutting on the inside there, and probably even draw like CCV out, so to try and double up, then obviously leaving a massive space in the middle. So for me personally, I would actually look to go with Stacey on that.
Now, the formation, a lot of fans since Woodgate's come in, and actually when Tyndall was in a job, we were looking for that 4-2-3-1. Now, the reason I've put one in there is because I think we've got 2 games in quick succession, and I'm not sure if Jeff Lerma travelled to Colombia. I didn't check that one today.
No,
but I'd like to see more attacking players on this pitch and take the game to Boro. So actually, I'd like to see either Ben Pearson or Jeff Lerma play one game and then the other play the other. I mean, what's your thinking on that?
But then does Billing play in a 2?
So are we going to go for a 4-2 or are we going to go for... Are we playing Jeff Lerma and Ben Pearson, or are we just playing the one?
I want Pearson in, mate. I want that bit of fight. I want that bit of protection for the back four.
And do you play Jeff Lerma as well?
It's a tough one, mate, and that's just because just seeing what Billing can do or what he has done recently, and also you got Wilshire as well.
I'm thinking with the internationals and with the 2 games, potentially we could go with that, and that gives more creativity.
Yeah, I mean, if that's if Jeff did travel with Colombia, and if he did get any game time, I don't know if anyone's actually confirmed that. So he didn't travel. Cheers for that, Mark. So, I mean, if that was the starting middle, mate, I would be happy with that, and I'll be confident, for Pearson to give, that back for the protection that they could need.
Okay, so we've got Solanke up top. I think he'll start in a number 9. I think we'll also see Dan Juma. Would you agree with that? Yeah,
has to be. Again, my favourite word of this show is consistency. It is just one of those where he can get the ball, and in the blink of an eye, he can perform some sort of magic, mate. And before you know it, you could be 1-0 up.
Absolutely. Now, this is an interesting position here now, because Stanislas has been brilliant for us this year, but obviously coming back from injury. Brooks is coming back from another long-term injury, and Roro did well when he's come off the bench against Swansea.
He did, and to a degree, I don't think he was too bad against Southampton either. So I think he's actually starting to bring that bit of energy, that bit of pace that we have been missing down that right-hand side. And actually, do you know what? He's looking to get the ball and actually run at people as well. I think previously we've been, quite possibly with Junior, where a bit like with Dan Juma, he wants to be on the left-hand side so he can come in on his right foot and actually have a pop. I'm surprised this season that those two haven't been sort of interchanging positions more regularly. So again, if Roro was to start on this, I would be happy with that. I'd be like, yeah, go on, lad. Take your opportunity. Show us what you can do. And at the end of the day, if you're coming from a team like Atletico Madrid, you've got to have something about you.
So who are you thinking then?
I think Woodgate's going to play it safe, and I think he'll go with Roro.
Interesting.
I think looking at the games that we have got coming up against the likes of Blackburn, Coventry, Huddersfield, and before the Norwich game, I think he'll want to keep Roro in there. I think just for a bit of consistency on that. Plus, also he has done. I would, for me, he's been 6.5, 7. Out of 10 in the previous couple of games, and then I think he'll look to then integrate both Brooks and Stanislas back, and then hopefully we can see that 4-2-3-1 that we've all been crying out for.
Do you know what? Maybe a lot won't disagree with this, but bearing in mind that players are coming back from injury, we've got 9 big, huge games to come, all in quick succession, as we said. And do you know what? Rowe might be rewarded for his performance when he came off the bench to help secure that win. So that's our team, our predicted 11 that we think Woodgate will pick for tomorrow. Let us know what you think. And if you're not able to watch this live, then let us know in the comments if you agree with that team, who you'd pick. There's a lot of Smith, Stacey. So Woodgate might be thinking about that tonight as he closes his eyes to go to sleep. Right.
Let's hope he thinks about Rico Kelly.
Absolutely. Right. This is your opportunity then. We're coming to the last part of the show to let us know what you think the early score predictions will be. Get your score predictions now in the chat. And before we bring them on the screen, let's just have a quick look at the other fixtures tomorrow. See what fixtures could also play in our favour. I mean, there is one game in particular that we're going to be looking at as well, isn't there, Mark?
Massively, mate. It's at 5:30, isn't it? Look at it. Barnsley versus Reading.
And actually, we could actually be in the playoff places before that kicks off.
Yeah. So again, there's an even bigger incentive for us to go out and actually get that a result against Middlesbrough. So hopefully Woodgate will be absolutely drilling it into the lads.
That just shows you what the championship is like. From one game week to another, you can be in the playoffs, you can be out the playoffs. Look, if you put a run together and win 4 or 5 games, you could almost be touching the automatics. It is one seriously hard league.
Well, and more importantly as well, again, we have got that game in hand as well. So, we look at those 6 points that can get us, and, that could potentially put us above Barnsley then, and hopefully maybe within touching distance of Brentford. So, again, my thought process is, we really do have to drive as hard as we can to, get as high as that league, get into the promotion playoffs, and even just try and win the damn thing. And even if that means just, another season in the Premier League where, even if we bottle it, the implications of that could just, be more, massive for the club. Everyone's having a learning curve in this season, and that's not just that us as the fans and watching football, behind a TV screen, but that's also, the players and the board as well. It's huge, and this is completely unprecedented for everybody.
There's a league table then, just confirming how tight it is. And like Mark says, with that game in hand, I mean, I would have been highly frustrated, and I think I am slightly highly frustrated that we're in this position. But it makes it a little bit exciting for us between now and the end of the season. I mean, it's close as it's going to get for us excitement-wise.
Of course, mate. Beginning of the season, and you looked at that early form as well. You would have, I think, a lot of us fans probably would have just sat back in our chair, opened a beer, and just got, we've got this sewn up already. And unfortunately, there's probably a little bit of arrogance on our behalf. But for us to be in this position now, the fact that we're still in touching distance, that's the main thing as well. We could have been, sort of mid-table without a hope in hell of getting anything from the season, other than just, let's just try and consolidate. So the fact that we are still within touching distance, it still gives us something to play for massively.
Really looking forward to it as we get closer to game time. And let's get your score predictions on here then. How you doing, Chris? Thanks for joining us. It's a 2-1 to the Cherries. Cameron's gone for a 1-0. Daniel, how you doing? It's a 1-1. Now, there might be some free ones out there, Mark. You never know. Hold that thought. I want you to hold that thought with 3-1. Join us lineups live tomorrow at 2:15, and I might bring a little bit more hope to that 3-1. Stick with that. Hold that thought. Mark Singleton, how you doing? 1-1. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Join us at 2:15 tomorrow. We've got a 3-1 for Heather as well. We've got Liam for a 1-0. Charlie, how you doing? Got a 3-0. If I've missed some scores out, I do apologise, but if they pop up on the screen in the next few minutes, I'll drop them down. How are you feeling about the game tomorrow then? What's your score prediction, Mark?
So yeah, absolutely buzzing for it to be back after the international breaks. As much as I personally enjoy watching England play, even if it's against the lesser teams. But yeah, you can't beat me watching your home team. So I think, given the fact that our form has been pretty much identical over the last few games, the fact that we've both got a lot of things to play for, and we've got the added incentive that, you know, by the end of the day or even before that, we could be in the playoffs. I am just going to go with a 1-0 for us.
Now, although I'm going to give some hope to a 3-1, I'm not going to go for it because I don't want to jinx it. Okay, so I'm going to go for a clean sheet tomorrow. Begovic to keep another clean sheet this season. And I'm just going to nick one more goal in front of Mark's and go for a 2-0. So I'm going 2-0 for the Cherries. So remember tomorrow, the AFC Bournemouth kick-off at 3 o'clock. It is Friday, Good Friday, and it is live, or it's on AFCB TV. So make sure you get that. Just going to wrap up the show very, very soon then. Just wanted to highlight as well some sad news today from another South Coast club at Yeovil. Captain Lee Collins passed away. Just like to wish, well, rest in peace. And it's sad news, Mark. And it's just sad when you hear stuff like that.
Yeah, it is, and I'm sure it's a massive shock, not just to Yeovil, but also, you know, the footballing community as well. So yeah, thoughts and prayers. First and foremost, go to his family, but also to Yeovil Football Club and their fans.
Yeah, so all the best, obviously, for Yeovil in that situation. I think the game's been suspended, and our wishes, our wishes go to the family as well. So, a sad moment. And it's been great to have you on, Mark. I know you're a big Bournemouth fan. You have a good insight, and just your final thoughts then.
Well, listen. The season's not over yet. I know probably before the international break, a lot of us could have been writing the season off. There's still a huge amount to play for. I still have a lot of faith in Woodgate and also the board as well. I'm probably a little bit more positive than Tom Jordan. I don't get the opportunity to come on screen about it. But no, listen, let's push as far as up at that table as we can. Let's. We've got so much to play for. Let's get ourselves into the Prem. Let's enjoy another season there, whether it's a good one or a bad one. But I cannot wait to get back into the stadium, and just to just to see you guys. And actually, and thank yourself, Sam, Tom, and everybody that's associated with all of these podcasts that have just kept my mind sane, during these difficult times. And yeah, hopefully, you never know, I might get to see you and maybe Hensman out on the golf course one day.
Absolutely. Couldn't have put it better myself. It's been a brilliant show. It's a match preview show. Remember, tomorrow at 2:15, we've got lineups live. Lineups will be released and we'll react to those lineups, the team that Woodgate's going to pick. Thank you to everyone who's joined us this evening on all our streaming platforms and commented throughout the show. Much appreciated. It's been very reactive and very enjoyable. Also, thank you to A.J.T from Middlesbrough for his input as well. Until tomorrow, enjoy the rest of your evening. From me and Mark, we'll see you soon. Up the Cherries.
Up the Cherries. Come on.